Hey, we're back at DFS. Today's guest is currently riding high in the West End. He's just transferred with his play from the National Theatre. I saw it when it was at the National. It's fantastic. I would say that, wouldn't I? But I mean it. We worked together a long time ago. I don't think he's going to remember I did a tiddly bit in a film. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy being in the company of the remarkable Joseph Fiennes. Don't forget, you can hear the full-length, longer version wherever you get your podcasts. We're starting because Joe is praising me, and I just wanted to be sure we were getting it on camera. Joseph Fiennes, thank you. You've had a mare getting here of traffic and...
It's all part of the normal run-of-the-mill in London.
And this man could have got here very late and said, hey, but he didn't. You jumped out of a taxi and got on a tube.
Yeah, I'm fastidious with timing, so if things go out of kilter, I get a bit stressed. So I don't know where it comes from. I think it comes from parents being late, so I have to be early.
But your parents... had a handful.
They had 7 kids, so they were excused. I mean, I've got a couple and a couple of dogs.
You've not followed them then in wanting...
No, kept well away from too many.
I was going to come on to your family later, but we've stumbled onto it. What an incredible family. I mean, sweet Lord, is there anybody that's not a high achiever?
I don't know, they're passionate.
Maybe you're going to name one. Yeah, there is. Yeah. You should meet my brother Fred.
I left school at 16. And I knew that I wanted to pursue the arts. And so I just didn't want to waste my time with anything other than that drive and focus.
When you started acting, how far down that road was Rafe?
Rafe, very kindly, he was doing theatre when I started. And actually, to get into drama school, I got a little bit of money from Lambeth. My parents couldn't afford it, and I had to work and my brother, who was just got into the National Theatre, which is why it's wonderful with Dear England going back to the National, because at the age of 18, having gone to Italy, at 16 or 17, thinking I would do art, I came back and knew it was acting, and he very kindly got me in to be a dresser at the National. So I ended up dressing amazing people like this wonderful Basil Henson, who was an incredible character. So at 18 through to 23, or at least 4 years, I was dressing at the National to pay my way through drama school.
Which productions were on then while you were... What era is this?
This is late 80s. Entertaining Strangers.
Yeah. Were you there when Pravda was on?
I was just after.
Just after that, yeah.
Were you there?
No, I came up on a college trip. I was at drama school in Cardiff, and we came up to see the Duchess of Malfi, right?
Right.
But when we got there, I saw that the patron saint of Wales, Anthony Hopkins, was appearing in Pravda. So I thought, well, it was a matinee. I thought, well, to hell with this. And I managed to get a standing ticket.
Oh, wow. Do you remember it?
Oh, I can remember being stood there, and that scene where he and Tim McInerney are on the heath, I think, circling each other. And I can remember thinking, I've not taken my eyes off Hopkins for, 7 minutes. Amazing. He also did M. Butterfly, and he came out at the beginning of the second half, and he went to start to speak, and there was a little band, and they hadn't finished. And he went, oh, sorry. right. And then he waited, and they finished, and he looked at somebody in the front row and he went, afternoon. And then I met him years later, and I said I was at the front, and he remembered. So there you are. I didn't know you'd been a dresser.
Yeah.
So you get to see the workings of the theatre from a very specific angle.
Yeah, a really important angle. And I think, if anyone wants to get into a business, whether it's acting or film or whatever it might be, I think working behind the sort of cameras, if it were, or behind the curtain, it gives you a great appreciation of all of the cogs of who's involved and who sets up what, and we front
Exactly.
a whole bunch of other people's hard work. And I think it's
Exactly.
really important to remind ourselves and people of that.
Let's stay with theatre. We can zigzag here because we were in the same film many years ago. You won't remember
My
it.
first film. Of course I remember it.
Right, you
Of
do remember.
course. Yeah.
Right,
Very much.
Go on, you say what it was.
Well, it was Peter Morgan's, one of his
Well, I didn't know
first.
he wrote it.
Peter Morgan wrote it. Nick Ham directed it. Ray Winston was in it. He played a psychologist,
Yes.
seemingly. There's
Yes.
a nice gag in there where he turns out not to be the psychologist. And it was with yourself, Rufus Sewell, Tom Hollander.
Yeah.
And it was a fun, crazy comedy. And that was my first gig.
It's called Martha, Meet Frank, Daniel,
and
Lawrence.
very good, you see.
And when you say it was with me and Tom Holland and Rufus, no. I was pretty much an extra. I played a taxi driver. You can spot me at an argument at Stansted Airport.
That's right. You stole the scene. I remember it well. I knew it. I was like, no one was looking my way. Everyone was looking at you.
No, you see, this is utter bullshit. I like to think on occasion I can maybe steal the odd scene. This was not the case here. I'm a bloody...
Well, they should have given you more screen time, quite frankly. But I do remember, and it stayed with me very well. And I really felt I made a connection with you there, and it's carried on. I feel very, very privileged to have met you then, early on as well.
All right, enough of that. That connection then can go full circle. We're here to talk about this remarkable play about Gareth Southgate, in which you play Gareth Southgate, which is called
Dear England.
Dear England.
After the letter.
After the famous letter. I saw it when it was at the National Theatre. It's now in town at
The Prince Edward Theatre.
Prince
Greek
Edward
Street.
Theatre. Lovely. It's a cracking play.
It's a great play.
It really works. I was saying when you came in, from the minute it begins.
It's visceral, it's loud, it's very funny. It's political without being finger-wagging. It's Graham, at his best. Rupert Gould, who knows how to direct and work with James and how to get it up. Beautifully staged. And the set is wonderful by Ez Devlin. It's a lovely sort of way that theatre and sports, and in this case football, can collide together, and it really is a look at identity. I think national identity, individual identity, masculinity, accepting loss, what it is for young players to how they associate themselves with a country that's forever in flux. They may be first, second, third generation. What does a flag mean to them, especially in the face of appalling abuse that some of them have to endure if England lose? But what's fascinating is I kind of think that Gareth hit this critical juncture in his life in '96, as we all kind of occasionally do hit these junctures. And how do you forge yourself out of those experiences? Do you fold or do you pick yourself up? And Gareth is this incredible, unlikely hero in that regard, that actually when I read it and knowing a little bit about him, I was a little bit dismissive until I got into the play and understood what the sort of gentle reformation that he had brought about with the help of a multitude of others, as we were saying. It's never just the actor in front of the camera. There's people behind, and certainly that's the case at St. George's. But a young Gareth that grew up in probably very toxic male environments with, fear being kind of thrown at you in order to get results, and could clearly see that actually that wasn't working. You have all these amazing star players, but none of them gelling together as a team. So how do you build a team? And it's the same for in theatre, it's as a company, you're a team. So I felt I could really understand the values he was after.
Were you a big football fan?
Yeah, I love football.
Right.
I love sport. I love rugby, love football.
I'm not a big football person. I can watch big matches and enjoy them. I have no allegiance with any club or anything. It is, as you said, visceral, and you feel like you're watching a football match at the points when there are football matches. It flows, and in the direction of it, Rupert Gould, it flows beautifully. It moves from one thing to another. Very easy to watch. And it's brought in a new audience, hasn't it, to the theatre?
Well, that's the thing. It is easy to watch, and it's funny, and it moves at a great pace, and because it's football, it's brought in a lot of people who would never ordinarily go to the theatre, let alone the National Theatre or the West End, partly because it seems like an elitist art form, because tickets are normally very expensive, but I think the National have done a great deal and have worked with organisations such as Football Beyond Boundaries or Borders, bringing in young audience members with a very affordable and sometimes free access to see the play. And that's been the great reward, is the rich, diverse audience. When you look out there, people in football shirts at the National Theatre.
That night, the night that we came, there were people in football shirts around us.
And waistcoats. And,
that's right.
There's a great celebration. And that's what the play needs, because we need that spontaneity.
But I must say to you, with my second-hand knowledge of Gareth Southgate, I mean, you can't be unaware of him. My wife and I both felt, my God, we are watching Gareth Southgate.
Well, I think that's the beauty of theatre, is it allows you this distance and this ability to kind of believe. There's that space between your eye and the stage, and with a little bit of lighting and a little bit of gentle mimicry, you can fudge it where you can't on film. Obviously, it's so kind of...
Do you have any prosthetics?
I do, partly for myself.
So
because,
what do you do?
I don't know if I should be telling you. This is my little secret.
Oh, well, if you don't want to share it, that's fine.
I'm with you, only you.
But this is a podcast, though.
Really, but it's only going out. How many?
But you don't have many listeners, right?
No, not at all. I'm very happy to share.
So what do you have then? They're not noticeable. I thought it was just you.
If you're on the front row, you'll see my nose has a break in it and is slightly different.
Right.
And also, I have a set of teeth, because I've had my teeth knocked out so many times from surfing and football and rugby and God knows what. It's chipped and broken, and they're tiny and they've been filed down, and they're like little rat's teeth. And it's character building in a way, isn't it? It shows that you've lived.
How much character do you want, though? Gareth Southgate. I sat with him once at an awards do. I sat next to him, also on the table, Pele. And Steve Coogan, so you can't have everything.
Oh my God.
But no, I sat next to Gareth, so I got to speak to him all night. And what I came away with was, what a thoroughly decent man.
He is a thoroughly decent man.
That's what I came away with.
Steve Coogan was there, and yourself. Who does the best impression of Southgate?
I'm going to say Steve, because when I hear my impressions, I can hear me. But sometimes in some of his, quite a few of his, I can't hear him.
Wow.
Because I can hear my own voice.
Do you have his number? And might just call him and get some ideas of where to go.
But you don't need that.
Are you sure?
No, but yes.
But you guys are just amazing at this. I should have come to you ages ago. What I love is the way that he has forged a new self. I mean, who would go from 96 missing a penalty to deciding I'll take that managerial job?
That's right.
I mean,
incredible.
My God, you know what it's like to stand up in front of an audience. You know what the pressures are like, or when people are terrible to you, and how that kind of sits with you. So I can't imagine the magnitude of what he went through and how he's come out, and not only for himself, but how he's extended that to the other players.
He's a bit of a remarkable guy. Yeah. How long is the run? How long will you be there?
We'll be there till mid-January.
I want to talk about some of the people you've worked with and give me some stories. You were in the movie of The Merchant of Venice.
Another great actor that you do a wonderful impersonation of. Let me hear it. Let me close my eyes a second.
And it won't be like being in the room with him. Here we go.
Let me go. Hi, Al.
Does a Jew not have feelings? Does a Jew, if you prick him, does he not bleed? If you tickle him, does he not laugh?
I'm moved.
Moved away. What was
Something
that like?
inside has churned. It's
what was
brilliant.
that like? Not the impression. What was it like working with him?
A brilliant impression.
Bless
brilliant
you.
Impression.
Never mind that.
He's he is phenomenal, I have to say.
He's one of the greats of all time.
And at heart, he's a theatre actor.
Yeah.
And he's all about kind of process, rehearsal, and actually anything not to do it, the whole process before doing it. He loves a sort of a conversation before to get into it while we're rolling or something like that. Anything just to free himself up. He's an absolute... I adore him, I have to say. I adore him. And I've been invited a couple of times to watch him and his buddies play poker, and that's an amazing thing to see.
Tell me about that.
I mean, I don't want to talk out of school, but it was just fun. A lot of Hollywood dons all around a table, just having a great card game.
Can you mention who, or do you feel you'd be speaking out of school?
I might be speaking out of school,
all right.
but an amazing, gorgeous man. Love him to bits.
Did you notice, I saw The Merchant of Venice when he did it on Broadway. Did you notice how big his hands are?
No.
Huge hands.
That sounds like... Stallone, I shook his hand once and they
Tell
were
me
massive.
about that.
They were massive.
Really?
What is
Under
that
what
about?
circumstances did you shake Sylvester Stallone's hands?
I think it was at a gathering. Maybe
it was at one of Al's
do.
poker games. You've
No.
inadvertently let slip who was there.
No, actually, it wasn't. It wasn't there. It was in London.
Whoever's here tonight, let it be known. Not a word will be spoken about tonight. Joseph, I'm looking at you. I don't want anybody knowing I was here, right? Hey, look at my hand, man. They're big.
But have you? I mean, they're
I've never met either of these men.
Huge. I mean, I feel positively puny next to them.
Well, he's Sylvester Stallone, but
Yeah,
I thought he
yeah.
was meant to be not as tall as people think.
Maybe he makes up for it in his hands.
He's got massive. No, when I saw Pacino on, and we talked about it with somebody else on this podcast, when I saw him on Broadway, I mean, he was mesmerising, of course, but his hands.
I haven't.
You know, paddles on a rowing boat in a park, and you got the oar, and then the paddle goes up there. Oh, big hands.
I'm going to have to
Check
go
it
back
out.
to another poker game as soon as I can.
So you can't remember how you met Stallone then?
I think it was just at some generic
game?
gathering, like a kind of
Playing
charity
poker.
or playing poker. Texas Hold'em, yeah.
And he shook your hand in it, and it was.
He shook my hand, and I just this is huge. I'm thinking maybe we have really small hands, and maybe the hands.
Oh,
are normal.
I've got pathetic hands.
I think that's the. I've got tiny. I think we both got tiny hands.
Yours are bigger than mine, Joe. Look, because yours are bigger than mine. You've got
But
proper
I think,
hands.
No, I don't.
These are embarrassingly small.
I think
and I didn't
why-
realise how small they were till later in life. I've gone through life.
Well, when you're children, you go, "Hey, Dad,
Oh,
it's a high five."
yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
My kids think they're pathetic, but things you can realise later. I mean, most people. I suddenly went, "Oh God, yeah, I've got tiny hands, haven't I?" And I must have been in my 40s before I realised, and it was a horrible moment. Like, oh, that's not good, because there's an assumption, isn't there,
Yes.
that if you have small hands,
yes.
you have small gloves.
Yes, exactly. Of course.
And
there
no
would
man
be-
wants to be
no.
thought of as having small gloves. Talking of hands, The Handmaid's Tale. Oh, beautiful.
Did you ever watch it? Did you see
Beautiful.
it?
No, but my wife
okay, you
did.
go.
My wife adored
didn't
it.
see it?
I'm not going to lie to you.
Can't believe
I could have gone, yeah, of course.
Well, I like your honesty.
But no, I didn't. There's too much telly now, isn't there? There's too much. No, there's too much great telly. I would say.
yeah.
There's so many things. I
We're at
didn't.
the golden age.
When you're in something like that becomes zeitgeisty. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think it was at the time when Trump, 2016. Funnily enough, Trump came in. Gareth got the job. Isn't that funny?
So The Handmaid's Tale, huge hit, zeitgeisty. What does that do to your career? How directly do you feel the knock-on effect of bona fide, everybody talks about hit?
I think what it does is firstly, what I love is that for television, we get an opportunity to tell a story on a great canvas, and it's great for television. And it really was one of those shows that I think came out at the right time. High production value, really creative, brilliantly, beautifully imagined by Reed Morano, who was the director, and really kind of gave it its look, the cinematic look. But in terms of career, look, I think I'm just lucky to be working and to continue. So I never look at anything as a hit, and I'm not aiming for that. It's wonderful if it does, but
No,
it's
not aiming for it,
yeah.
but you must be...
Very lucky, just lucky. It's a crapshoot. It really is. I do believe, things converge at the right time for you, but you get lucky in being offered it. But it comes with I guess an inner longing for working with great actors, cinematographers.
Joe, I could carry on for another minute and a half, almost effortlessly, but But you have to go.
It's just round the corner. Actually, where are we?
Your people are banging on the glass.
What time is it now?
It's now 16 minutes after 5 o'clock.
16 minutes after 5. Yeah, my process begins somewhere between 5:30 and 6.
I don't want your process starting while you're here. I don't want to witness that.
No, you do. Why?
I want some of the. I want to keep the magic.
You want to keep the Gareth.
I want to keep what I remember when I saw it. Okay.
I'm thrilled you came. Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me here.
We came twice.
No way.
But we didn't see it twice. We came on the wrong night. My wife, we arrived, me, Claire and the boys, and here we go, we're coming to see it. We go, there's someone in our seats.
Double booked.
And then we were there a night early.
Oh, my God.
So we came back the next night.
So you came to the stalls twice, but you actually saw the show once.
We looked over there. What are those idiots doing? They've come on the wrong night. And then my wife went over to talk to them, and I could see her posture. And I thought, no, they're not the idiots.
Oh, no.
So
what did you do that night? Did you go somewhere else?
We'd already been for a meal, a pre-theatre meal. So we came outside, had a little look at the River Thames, and then shuffled back home. But we came back the next night.
You're a good man. You're a good man to have come back.
I loved it.
I'm thrilled you were in.
Joseph Fiennes speaking earlier today in London. Well, his play Dear England is currently appearing at the Prince Edward's Theatre.
I thought you were on an auto cue. You were reading it so beautifully and effortlessly, but you're not. That's
amazing. It's at the Prince Edward Theatre in the heart of London's West End, right in Soho. What a fantastic idea to go and see. It's a fantastic play. I can say that.
It's great. It's great for parents and their children.
It is. It's a great way.
Grandparents, family. It's a really good family show.
Great thing if you've got kids perhaps who are just into sport to get them into theatre because it would grab them. But you don't have to be into. It's a great play, Joe. You've got to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Bless you. They're big. They're big, actually.
Yeah.
Forget that.